subject since we're on kids. And I know that Avery is your miracle baby, your rainbow baby. How how did how did the miscarriages, one or two, one, how did the miscarriage impact your relationship, if at all?
The miscarriage was a very difficult experience, right? You don't even you have something that you weren't even really sure that you wanted before you got it, but then you have it, and you cannot think about anything else. The level of excitement, the amount of joy that finding out that we were going to have a baby, and marrying somebody who already has two children, you don't really know. You know, how excited is he going to be because he's done this twice over? My husband was all in, right? He was just as excited as I was. And then to have that snatched away without warning, without reason. And I thought I was okay, right? Because you know your body, right? So I was pretty certain that it was happening before a doctor confirmed that that's what was happening. So I was just like, okay, this is what's happening. And I went to the doctor, and then I got home, and I told Jamar, and he just broke down, and that broke my heart. It did, but I was still strong. I was just like, I gotta be strong for him. I was only 8 weeks in. It's not like I had started buying baby clothes and decorating the nursery or anything like that. It's gonna be okay. If this is what God wants for me, then it'll happen again, right? Because I was told that there was a less than 1% chance of it happening, period, without medical assistance. 2 months after I got married to Jamar, I went to my OB just for a regular appointment, just to get things checked out, because I had never been pregnant before in my life. I never tried to get pregnant, anything like that, because what I knew from a young age was just that I wanted to be married if I ever had children. No particular reason, not judging. My mama did it 4 times over without a husband. So I'm definitely from that world, right? And I respect that whole situation. But just for me, what I wanted for myself was to have a husband, have a baby, that whole fairy tale white picket fence situation. And that lady said, you're going to have to see a fertility doctor if this is what you really want. And she gave me a referral. And I went home and I told Jamar, and he said, we don't need that. I never made an appointment with a fertility specialist. I never even considered it. I have no idea what even happens to the referral paper. Maybe we just throw it in the trash. Whatever. And then here we are a year and a half later, and natural, just from a man and a woman, birds and bees getting together like they supposed to, and I'm pregnant. And then 8 weeks later, I'm not. Right? So, and I don't know if anybody, I'm sure somebody watching this is probably going through a miscarriage. It is so hard on your body. It's hard on you physically. It's not like it just happens in a day and it's over. I miscarried my first pregnancy for 4 days. Because we chose to let it happen naturally as opposed to, I think there's some kind of surgery that you can get. Yeah, my doctor said, you come back in a week, and if it's not all gone, then we will do that. But let's see. He gave me some pills, but I knew it was happening, so I knew I didn't even need the pills. I didn't need anything. So the fact that it doesn't happen is hard.
I didn't know that.
Mentally, especially. I think even more mental than physical, because every time you go to the restroom, you have to deal with this. Oh. You go to the restroom more frequently because you're dealing with this, right? So, and because my husband knew what was happening, every time I come out of the bathroom, he was in tears. He mourned that loss, and it was so hard on him, which made it hard on me. But instead of me being emotional and like crying and stuff, I was angry. I was very snappy. I was very short tempered. I was mean. Until one day the dam just broke. And I started crying. I started crying and I thought I would stop. And he called his aunt. His aunt is an ordained minister. And her best friend, they both are. And they came over to the house. And they prayed with us that very night that I broke down. And they prayed with us. And they prayed for us. And as happy as I am to have had a successful pregnancy and have Avery here, I still think about that first. What happened with my body that I couldn't sustain that pregnancy? You know what I mean? What steps could I have taken for that to be successful? And you never really forget. You never let that go. Right? So then when I got pregnant the second time, I was terrified the whole time. I didn't talk about it because I didn't want anybody else to be worried. But I was absolutely terrified that I would lose that pregnancy too. Because you just don't know.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
You could do as much research as you want to. There is not anything out there that I have seen that will explain a miscarriage. It's just something that happens to some women. And the statistics on miscarriages are so high. I know. I wasn't really, thinking about that before I got pregnant and actually had one. And everybody's body is so different. There's not really anybody that you can ask, about what is happening, what's going on. So if it happens once, and then the internet is your worst enemy.
Yes.
Right? So you read about all these women that have had multiple miscarriages. So you're blessed enough to get pregnant again. But then you don't know. Because you don't really know what happened last time. So it's not like, okay, if I don't do this,
right,
or if I do this, then I know that this pregnancy will be successful. There's nothing you could do but just live and wait and see how your body is going to do with this. And being 43 when I got pregnant, no, I was 42. So that's advanced maternal age, geriatric pregnancy, if you will, right? Who the hell came up with that term? I do not know. But I was okay with it because it meant more trips to the OB, more ultrasounds, a specialist to monitor my pregnancy the entire time. So I got to see my baby literally like every 2 weeks. And every time I went to that perinatal doctor and he said, your baby looks good. Your baby is perfect. My heart just melted. Because I knew this is the one. Like, this is the baby that God wanted me to have. Like, I don't know what happened that last time. And I would love to have 2 babies here right now. Maybe that was my little girl. I don't know. But those were his words every time. Your baby is perfect. And he literally is. He literally is. And I am so thankful for that. But I will never forget what that felt like. And even if I were to get pregnant again, I would probably have the same emotions. Until your baby is safely in your arms. Like, there's just a certain level of anxiety, at least for me.
Hell, I have it, and I don't even be pregnant. When I see other women walk around, it's just like, I remember one time I worked with this lady, and she was pregnant with twins. And she would be in the kitchen getting coffee or something like that, and her stomach was just, she would hit the counter or and I'll be like, ooh, I always have been very aware of that. Just like, you're carrying around life, and it's just amazing. It's an amazing thing. And so, I'm just always in awe of it. While I don't have this, I've never had this desire to have my own kid. I've never had it. it doesn't mean I don't appreciate it,
Sure.
and so it's just an amazing thing to see when women, are walking around here. It's just, I love to see it. So when the aunts came and prayed over you guys, how, what happened after that? Did you guys feel like, did you feel more connected to him after that?
Absolutely did.
It helped you guys to move forward.
I absolutely did. And part of the prayer was, you will have a baby. You will bring forth life. And I absolutely 100% believe that. When she said it in the prayer, I believed it. Right? And after that, it was done. Like I said, I will never forget. Yeah. I'll never forget that first pregnancy and what that felt like. But it was different. It shifted, right? To just being grateful for other things. Grateful that my health did not suffer because I had a miscarriage. Grateful that I'm still physically able to get pregnant, right? Because the doctor said, he's like, we'll do something. I don't even remember the procedure or whatever, but to help you, right? Not fertility treatments or anything, but some kind of like scraping of the womb, cleaning, something that would like clear the pathway for me to try to get pregnant. We didn't have to try anything. We didn't have to try anything. It just happened naturally. When it was supposed to, right? God's timing. We hadn't talked about trying. We didn't talk about timing. We didn't do anything. We just lived our regular, normal, married lives and just took care of the kids, took care of each other, did date nights, did whatever, just normal, everyday life. And then boom, it just happened. Avery was coming on through. He was in there. And how I know, well, I know because God is who he is, right? And I believe in miracles, right? And I trust God and I have faith in him. And I do 100% believe that he will give you the desires of your heart, right? And I didn't have that yearning, that strong desire to be a mom until I got pregnant that first time.
Really?
Yeah. It didn't consume like my everyday thoughts or whatever. Like I wasn't obsessed. Like I said, we didn't talk about planning. I wasn't taking my temperature and doing all that stuff like that. But in that corner of my mind, I'm like, I want a baby, right? So he didn't only fix it up to give me a baby, but my pregnancy was absolutely amazing after the first trimester, because that first trimester was rough. Those migraines kicked my ass. They were never played with. My husband did not get a hot meal. Right? Don't even think about trying to be romantic. I literally went to work, came home, went to bed. Every day for 14 weeks straight. Every single day. I had the worst migraines. Start with Tylenol because that's really all you can take when you're pregnant. Then the doctor's like, okay, we'll try Excedrin. That's still safe. I had to do a prescription grade medication. But then again, here we go with the internet. Worst enemy. I Google the medicine. It can, not necessarily will, but can cause bleeding in the baby. So boom, I can't take this. I just got to work with these migraines. But I like literally the first day of my second trimester, they were gone.
That is so crazy.
It's crazy. The rest of my pregnancy was amazing. I didn't gain that much weight, praise God. I wasn't sick, not a day of morning sickness, not a day of heartburn.
And he has all that hip.
He has all that. He has all that. Not one day of heartburn. And he didn't even, which that part was a little scary, but he didn't even move that much. And when you get to the end, you're over it.
Yeah.
No matter how easy your pregnancy was. So I got to that point. But by the time I got to that point, it was time to get him here. So, I like to think of it as God making up for that loss a little bit. You know, not only blessing me with this life, but getting him here such an easy journey.
If there is such a thing as an easy
Right.
birth, right?
Right.
How has your relationship with Jamar changed since Avery arrived, if it has at all?
Oh wow! So watching him father Avery, even though I've seen him with his children, with Brandon and Mackenzie, but seeing him with this infant, and then him being at home with him all day, right? Oh God, I think it's brought us so much closer. Like, and it's just really intensified my love for him. Like sometimes I just stand back and I just watch him sing to Avery, or just like feed him, or just the way he holds him. It's so beautiful. It really is. And you would think, with him being at home, sometimes it's 12 hours, right? Because sometimes I leave here at 6 in the morning and I don't get back till 6 in the evening. He would be like at the garage door waiting for me with the baby. And, it's not like that. He understands I need a minute to decompress, wash the day off of me, whatever, and he just is right on in there, having my back, being a dad, taking care of his baby, loving on our son. I think it has brought us closer, having Avery. I do. We were already connected in such a special way. We always had a strong bond. But Avery, if it is at all possible, has strengthened that. It really has. I know that I had a child with the right person. I know that I married the right person, right? Everything just, I don't know, girl. It's a trip, right? I think about my life sometimes and I'm just like,
you're in awe of it.
Yeah.
You got what you wanted.
Yeah.
What you asked for.
Nobody gets, does this happen?
Yes, it does.
I'm speechless sometimes. I am so grateful that I just don't even have the words. I don't. Because it's like, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? To be so favored, to receive all of this. But it's just because God loves and he takes care of his children, right? And he, again, gives them the desires of their heart. If you do what he asks you to do, he'll do what he promises you he'll do. I'm just a living testimony that it can and will happen. That's it, right? Faith is the subject of things unseen, right? I have faith. I always did, and I always will. And I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg of the things that he has in store for my family. I really do.
And if you believe, and I talk about manifestation all the time, if you believe and have faith in what you are looking for and seeking, it can only present itself, because if you have faith in those things, you can always work for those things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I 100%